G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsai Works. Today's all about air layering Shimpaku juniper. This Shimpaku is a Kishu variety. Now if you've seen my videos in the past, I've done a number of videos on this, so probably see it all over again if you want. But for the new people who haven't seen my previous ones, it's another good way to propagate Shimpaku juniper, especially one that pretty much for me is 100% successful. I have no issues with, I've had no issues for a number of years with air layering or any Shimpaku juniper. It's all about timing. So I do it, it's September here in Melbourne, and in the southern hemisphere that is coming into early spring, late winter, early spring. So perfect time for Shimpaku junipers to be air layered. If I air layer them today, it's pretty much ready in 3 months' time. So by December, I can separate the new piece of material from the parent plant. Another important thing is pick branches that are healthy and strong growing. The way you probably can see these ones that have got nice, strong, long tips growing through. They're really healthy. They're good branches. Okay, don't select weak branches. They won't work. You need really strong branching. I can air lay pretty much anything from at least pencil thickness to good old thumb size, a bit more, depending on how big your thumb is. But yeah, you can pretty easy to air lay decent sized material off Shimpaku juniper. What you need: sharp knife. I just use my very sharp grafting knife. I give it a good sharp every once in a while. I use plastic bags to make a ball around the cup joint, and sphagnum moss is the other thing you need. I just soak it. You see he's soaking in water, ready to be used. It's very, very straightforward. The other things I tend to do as well is I pre-wire some of the branches last year, so I give them sometimes I give them twists and turns, and so the bend's already there for them. That's another thing you can do as well. I don't use rooting hormone anymore. I don't need to. I think it's a bit of a waste of money for these anyway, because the air layers just take so easily. Pretty much aftercare, I put it back in the same spot that it was in the garden, because that's where it was growing. So don't protect it. I actually want to give it more sun, if anything, because more sun means quicker growth, and the actual balls get quite warm, which helps the root growth. Or that's what I believe anyway. Keep the plant warm, will grow. That's very simple. Okay, but the technique to air layering, I will try and get close in to show you what I do, even if it's just I do the work and then I'll show you, because otherwise it's a bit hard to see, but we'll try and get into it. This tree has a lot of nice, healthy, strong growth. See this branch up here? That's a good branch to air layer. This branch here, can you see this one? Not so good. It's only got kind of one strong lead, and that's about it. Not even that strong, pretty medium size. Now, I have pre-wired a couple last year. This branch here has been pre-wired. It's got nice growth, and there's a branch at the back over here. It's been pre-wired and nice growth. There's another big branch here that's really strong and needs to come off, and I'll get that one done as well. That's probably the thickest version. So I've probably got one there, 2, 3, 4, and I think there was one more I saw in this one, 5. They're really the strongest ones. The rest I'm going to leave for future seasons and keep growing. This tree is pretty much a donor tree, if you know what I mean. It donates its growth to new material. So I've probably taken, I reckon, 20 to 30 air layers off this one already, and it just keeps going, keeps rotating. This tree will pretty much never be a really good bonsai because it's a very straight trunk. It's not very interesting, but it is creating a number of offspring. So that's what I've done. I've got 2 of these. The other one's actually sitting on another big tree that I'm trying to do approach grafts with on a larger juniper. So they'll be separating that soon, hopefully, and continue air layering the process on that one. But in the meantime, these are the ones I want to work with. So I'm going to have 5 that I'm going to do, and I'll zoom in and show you the detailed work. All right, let me focus on this large branch here. I'm going to try and focus on this one so you guys can have a look. This is the one I'll work on. So You'll see this long, it's got nice 2 branches. I don't really care much about here. We'll wire and bend that up in the future, but I want to layer it. So what I intend to do is the thickness, you can see the thickness of it. I tend to want to start right at the base of the trunk, or put the actual bag starting right at the base of the trunk. So I would have to consider maybe the trunk's about a bit more, maybe my pinky thick, so I'll need to make that width, the actual the ring bark that I'm going to take off, double the size of that, at least double the size of my pinky. Okay, so if for example the width of the trunk is my pinky, I'm going to make the actual ring bark that I'm going to take at least double the size of my pinky. Okay, what that means is the gap's going to be large enough for the tree not to heel over, and should shoot out roots where we want it. So I start with, I can see there's a nice little branch here. Right, if I need at least pencil thick, thumb thick, then I want to be able to at least get some wire on this tree from about this point. So I score around. Just gotta watch my fingers because it's really hard to do when you're trying to do video. I score around so that when I debark, I won't rip the bark all the way back onto the trunk. So I make sure I've scored it nicely. Then at least two thicknesses of my pinky should be about there. Now you can just peel the bark however you feel comfortable doing. I run a nice little, like my knife over the top of it, just to get down the path of it, and then peel it off. I might use my gin pliers just to peel that bit off, squish it. Well, this time of year the sap flow should have started a bit more than this. It hasn't really. When the sap flow starts, the cambium comes off really easy. Hasn't started that well. Well, it's a bit cooler than some years this year, but usually it comes off a bit easier than that. Just comes off really clean, but it's getting there. Not too hard. Probably a good lesson here though, I can show you, is that you don't want to leave any of the cambium on. So go through with your knife and clean up any cambium. Make sure it's all nice and clean from it, all the way around. I'm going to have to spin it, because you don't want to do all this work and it heals over. Alright, so we're back there, pretty much clean. I'll just make sure, I think there's a bit more at the top. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. Looks like it's all back to the hardwood now. Yeah, it looks like it's all hardwood. Just what I do next is I get a piece of plastic. I use any plastic, anything you can get your hands on. Something a little bit thicker than the cling wrap you use at home, the plastic wrap you use to wrap food. Just a little bit thicker than that. Maybe those little plastic pouches are a good size thickness as well. That you put sandwiches in, things like that. So I start with a pouch. I need to create a pouch. Now I just use spare wire, whatever wire I've got lying around. The smaller the better. Like I use almost 1 mil. Here, 1 mil aluminium. I have to stand for this. So I try and create, so at the base of the cut, at the base of the ring bark that I've done, is I try and create a pouch, or try and wire the pouch into place there first. Now use a long piece because I'll show you what to do with the rest of it later. Now, there are things on the market, product on the market that you can use. Other things like there's these black ball things that you can put around it and ring butt and do the airlay. However, for me it's almost impossible to get those balls into here because they just won't fit. Because my twists and bends is just not going to work. So doing it this way is best for me. So now I've got a nice little pouch happening. Nice little pouch happening. See that? Now I'll get my sphagnum and start to fill that pouch in. Try and drain as much water as I can off it without going too crazy. Keep applying. So I get to about a tennis ball thickness, I reckon. And I've covered, the most important thing is you cover the top cut ring. That's the most important, obviously, because that's where the roots are going to come from. So now I just start to tighten the plastic around this spot. Now remember the wire that I haven't is still anchored to the base. I use that to actually wire it around the ball once or twice just to hold the ball in place. Just caught. There we go. Hold it in place. Hold it in place, and then tightens. And just make sure I tighten the top bit. Now, watering this, you need to water these balls once in a while, especially when it starts to get warm, and that's pretty much it. There you go, there's the ball. Alright, you got to water these once in a while. So I either make a little hole in the top where it is and just get water into there, or you can use a syringe or something and go through the plastic and water it as well. Any way you choose. That's for the first one. Now I've got 1, 2, 3 and 4 more to go. But I just want to show you that one, and I'll show you the final product with all of them on there in just a minute. So here are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 airlays that I've put on the tree. All towards the top, all strong, healthy growth. You can see nice and strong. Now pretty much, hopefully in 3 months' time, they'll be full of roots and I can take them off the parent. Now the last step I do is cover these balls with just some black plastic. So what the intention is, I'll just cover them up, each one. What it does is actually, the intention is the sun warms, the black absorbs the sun's rays and heat much faster and better than clear. So the warmer that is, the more roots intend to grow. So that's my thinking. Hopefully that's right. But otherwise, that's pretty much what I do. That's 5 on there now. I've got another tree that I'm going to do, but there's no point showing you. But here you go in terms of this is what's done. And you saw the process. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you soon.